This is Coffee with God, and I am Father Jose. Let us begin this day with the Word of God and a short reflection.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke, chapter 11, verses 42 to 46. Passage is taken from the Message version of the Bible. I have had it with you. You are hopeless, you Pharisees. Frauds! You keep meticulous account books, tithing on every nickels and dimes you get, but manage to find loopholes for getting around basic matters of justice and God's love. Careful bookkeeping is commendable, but the basics are required. You are hopeless, you Pharisees. Frauds! You love sitting at the head table at church dinners, love preening yourselves in the radiance of public flattery. Frauds! You just like unmarked graves. People walk over that nice grassy surface, never suspecting the rot and corruption that is 6 feet under. One of the religious scholars spoke up. Teacher, do you realize that in saying these things, you're insulting us? He said, yes, and I can be even more explicit. You're hopeless, you're religious scholars, you load people down with rules and regulations, nearly breaking their backs, but never lift even a finger to help. The Gospel of the Lord.
Reflections on the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 11, verses 42 to 46. We continue to read chapter 11 of St. Luke, where Jesus continues his criticism of the Pharisees. As we reflected yesterday, Luke was using these teachings of Jesus to warn the members of his own community not to be judgmental of the people. Pharisees trust the observances of the law of Moses. Scrupulous adherence to the law and the numerous traditions accumulated over the centuries was inevitable for a pious Jew. The scribes, Pharisees, and religious scholars were regarded as the custodians and interpreters of the Torah. Jesus gets visibly annoyed and furious with these religious leaders for preaching the wrong catechism and presenting the false face of God to their people. The religious leaders taught the people to accept the commandments of God, lest they should be punished. According to their traditions and interpretations, keeping themselves pure by following the ritual purifications, observing the Sabbath, and paying tithes were ways to please God and avoid his punishments. This sounds familiar even in our times as well. Even today, some people believe in a punishing God. Many hold on to the observances of the traditions as a crucial part of their lives in faith. Sometimes the church leaders have been more anxious to preserve traditional practices than to lead people to a more profound love of Christ and each other. Religious traditions and rituals are essential, but they should not be at the expense of the greatest commandment of Jesus, love of God and love of neighbor. The more we multiply rules, the more we try to control other people's lives. With control over others comes a temptation to judge them. At the same time, we are in danger of considering ourselves holier than the rest because we follow the rules. And this is the most significant barrier to holiness. Jesus attacks the Pharisees for their attention-seeking, power-hungry attitude. In the past, the clergy in the church expected similar honors to be paid to them. People willingly did so very often because they genuinely respected their bishop or priest. However, the habit alone does not make the monk. The Roman called the priest. or the mitre, the bishop. Pharisaism is alive in our society, but the person I need to check is me. In the rite of ordination to diaconate, the bishop would give an all-important instruction to the one ordained as deacon. Believe what you read, teach what you believe, and practice what you teach.